Hello, you're watching News Mongolia and MNB World. I'm your host, Oyun-Erdene. Our top stories: 875 COVID-19 cases and 9 additional deaths reported. Investment opportunities in Mongolia to be studied by Qatari Working Group. Prime Minister Oyun-Erdene announced his plan to take strict measures to reduce corruption. For other news, stay tuned. The Ministry of Health reported that 875 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed today and 9 people have died.
The Ministry of Health today on November 12th has reported that 875 new COVID-19 cases were detected in the past 24 hours after tests were carried out at PCR laboratories across the country. Unfortunately, 9 patients, 7 women and 2 men, all with underlying health conditions, died of COVID-19 complications. All new cases are of domestic transmission, 563 out of which were confirmed in Ulaanbaatar, and the remaining 312 were confirmed in the provinces. 10,727 COVID-19 patients are being treated at hospitals nationwide. Additionally, 28,029 patients are being treated at home. Among the 11,727 COVID-19 patients being treated at hospitals nationwide, 4,493 are showing mild symptoms of illness and 231 are in critical condition. Currently in Mongolia, over 2.25 million people have received their first COVID-19 vaccine dose nationwide, and over 2.40 million have received the second dose of vaccine.
The National Committee responsible for the transition to e-governance and corruption-free public services convened on Thursday. The meeting was chaired by Prime Minister Oyun-Erdene.
Mongolia ranks a lowly 111th on the Corruption Perception Index of Transparency International. The Prime Minister noted that this is a very bad indicator and that strict measures are needed to be taken. He explained it by bureaucracy at all levels of public service. According to the latest data, out of 1,196 complaints and information related to corruption and official misconduct, 741 were investigated and 85 cases involving 142 individuals were resolved. Interestingly, this number of complaints occurs since the establishment of the National Committee. Since then, 90.3 billion Mongolian tugriks has accumulated in the government coffers. The National Committee is currently cooperating with Transparency International. The latter made 9 recommendations, including improving the governance of state-owned enterprises and digitalizing more public services. The e-Mongolia system currently provides 562 services related to 56 organizations. From July 22nd to November 4th, the government's 1111 Public Relations Center received 1,860 calls, 20 of which were referred to the Independent Authority Against Corruption as corruption-related. There were also 1,052 complaints related to bureaucracy. In the first 10 months of 2021, the IAC received 1,913 complaints and information. Of these, 1,089 or 57% were related to land ownership issues.
Thank you for staying tuned with us on MNB World. Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
On November 10th, Nyemkho, ambassador-designate of Mongolia to the French Republic, met with Pierre-Christian Sokoja, Deputy State Protocol and Diplomatic Events Director at the French Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs, and presented a copy of her credentials. At the meeting, Ambassador-designate Nyemkho said she is pleased to represent Mongolia in the French Republic and affirmed commitment to work for developing Mongolia-France ties and cooperation. In the meantime, Ambassador Nyemkho introduced Sokoja to a Mongolian Gir, briefed him on Mongolian-French relations and ongoing major joint projects, and invited him to visit Mongolia. Within the framework of her official visit to Qatar, the Mongolian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Batsitsik, paid a courtesy call on the Prime Minister and Minister of Interior Affairs of Qatar, Sheikh Khalid bin Khalifa bin Abdulaziz Al Thani, on November 9th. Foreign Minister Batsitsik, on behalf of the government of Mongolia, thanked the Qatari side for donating medical equipment worth $150,000 worth in the fight against the pandemic, expressing satisfaction with the strengthening bilateral political relations relations between the two countries, the sides agreed to send a working group in charge of studying investment possibilities from Qatar to Mongolia in order to widen trade, investment, and economic cooperation with mutual benefits. Foreign Minister Batatık met with Director General of the Qatar Fund for Development Khalifa Hassim Al-Kuwari discussing funding for a kindergarten to be built with the assistance of Qatar, the fight against the desertification, planting trees, and eliminating ecological pollution. She also had a meeting with CEO of the Qatari Investment Authority, Mansour bin Ibrahim Al Mahmoud, to exchange views on possibilities to collaborate in the fields of investment, mining, banking, food, and agriculture.
In 2019, the Australian Volunteers Programme introduced the Impact Fund, through which partner organizations can empower and strengthen their capacity in addressing social issues and challenges. The Press Institute of Mongolia has received a grant from the fund and has conducted a project to raise awareness of gender stereotypes. As part of this project, workshops as well as content competition were organized. On Thursday, a Zoom event to award the best content prizes was held by the Press Institute.
And today,
The Australian Volunteers Programme has run 3 rounds of the Impact Fund since its inception in 2019. The fund has supported 7 Mongolian partner organizations addressing social issues such as inclusiveness, gender equality, climate action, and food security. The Press Institute of Mongolia has received the Australian Volunteers Programme's Impact Fund grant and is implementing a project that aims to increase understanding and awareness of gender stereotypes and to strengthen their leadership role in promoting gender equality in Mongolia. The project organized online workshops to increase target groups' capacity to recognize and challenge gender stereotypes in media and communication content. Following the workshops, a competition to make social media contents that promotes gender equality was organized among journalists and social activists. A total of 20 essays were received in the contest aimed at increasing social media actions to raise public awareness on gender stereotypes and critical gender issues in society. Judges selected 13 in the first nomination process, which were then disseminated through social media. Audience engagement was considered to finalize the winners of the contest. The Press Institute organized the award ceremony event and announced the best works and highlighted the result of the project on Thursday through a Zoom meeting from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. The 2 best contents received the Best Content Prize, and the 2 more contents were awarded with a special prize. Dave Preston, First Secretary and Head of Aid Development Section, and David Selvage, Chairman, Regional Director of East Asia Region, joined the event and gave the opening remarks. The event was attended by the contest participants, Australian Volunteers Programme, and Australian Embassy delegates, as well as Press Institute trainers, judges and organizers, as well as other media professionals.
Now let's check on the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. And here's the weather forecast for major cities around the world. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for staying tuned with us on News Mongolia. See you next week with more stories and updates. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.